inspiration, motivation, or hope? Do you let fear hold you back? Sometimes you feel lost or just stuck in your own thoughts, and you want a clear path to give you results. Then, my friend, you are in the right place. My name is Rachel Best, and I am your host of How to Make a Mark in the World, Finding Your Signature. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to How to Make a Mark, Finding Your Signature. Today, we have an amazing guest. Her name is Gigi Sabbat, and I got the privilege and honor to meet her, oh my goodness, a little over a year and a half ago at a speaking event. And she had a powerful message. And she actually was on one of my webinars not too long ago. And she's an amazing woman, a powerful woman of God. And, I just thought she would be a great person to have on here today to just share how she's making a mark in the world, because she's been very impactful in my life. And so, Gigi, go ahead and take it away and tell us how you desire to make a mark in the world.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Rachel, it's such an honor to be here with you today. And also in regards to how to make your mark in this world. If you're listening to this message today, remember, your mark in this world is God's purpose for your life. And so essentially, oftentimes it's right in front of you. And if God has put that in front of you, I encourage you today to step into God's purpose for your life.
That is so good. I'm going to have you repeat that again. And listeners, get your pen and paper, because Gigi is going to say a lot of amazing things for you. And so if you could repeat that so that they can hear and write that down.
Absolutely. I'll say it again. Your mark in this world is God's purpose for your life. Step into God's purpose for your life. And remember, oftentimes it's right in front of you.
That's so good. And so true. And so tell us, how are you walking in your purpose for your life and what God's called you to do?
Absolutely. For me, I just let go and let God. Essentially, a few years ago, I almost lost my life, death by strangulation in a domestic violence relationship. And after everything that occurred, I stepped into God's purpose for my life.
Wow. So way to use a traumatic experience and shift it into something for God. So tell us a little bit more about how you really started walking in that purpose and how you overcame some of those things that you might have gone throughout that trauma.
Such a great question. And so essentially, after everything that happened, I got baptized again as an adult. Mind you, I got baptized as a child, and I reread the Bible again as an adult. And again, my relationship with God means the world to me. And here's the thing. Hence, I also wrote the book, God First, endorsed by Les Brown. And when we talk about God first, it's important to not just have him first in our personal lives, but also in all areas of our lives, including our business.
Yeah. I think for myself, I know when we put God first in our business, things start to happen, right? So have you found, like, as you put God first and as you wrote that book and as you've been living out your life and putting God first, can you share with us some of the things that by putting God first in your life has really impacted your personal, your business, your relationships, and things like that?
Such a great question. For me, I'm all about servant leadership. And also, to me, the company is similar to a ministry. And so we're all about serving others, and we continue to do so. But through our coaching programs, through our events, and through our books, and many other aspects as well. Any way that we can, we do.
Nice. So tell us a little bit more about what it is specifically that you do and how you're using it as a ministry.
Absolutely. So I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Life Service Center of America. And I am also a coach as well. And I love helping others achieve their goals.
Yes. And you are fantastic at helping people succeed in their goals and also showing them what their true potential is, right? Like, you are the one that you will poke a little bit to help them just become, because I feel like you can see the potential in other people that they don't see in themselves. And you're really good about pulling that potential out, what God has created them to be and to do. Like, God is definitely using you in some amazing ways and he's using your ministry of coaching to really serve others. And that's something I think that you do great at, is you're serving others through the ministry that God has given you and the business that he's given you. And so can you share with us a little bit, like, how and what it is that you do as you're coaching your clients and helping them?
Absolutely. Such a great question. For me, I'm all about meeting people where they are. So important. And again, I truly believe anyone who has a goal, and if you're listening to this message today, if you have a goal that you're looking to achieve, I want you to remember that it is possible. All things are possible with God, and you can achieve your goals.
Yes, all things are possible with God, because, if he puts those dreams and those desires in us, then he's going to help us and put people in our path to help refine those talents and gifts that we have, right?
That's right. That's right. And do not give up on your goals.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are definitely one person that is very good about helping people not give up on their goals and to pursue their goals and their dreams. And so share with us a little bit about your speaking engagements and what you do as a motivational speaker.
Absolutely. Great question. So essentially, in regards to the events, it started off with domestic violence and sexual assault, topics that I'm a survivor of. And then God led me to host the events on topics such as human trafficking, mental health topics, pregnancy topics, you name it, we are covering it. And if God has advised us to do so, we are doing so.
Yeah. Yeah. So how long have you been a public speaker, motivational speaker?
A few years now. too many to count. I haven't really kept count of that. For me, I'm too busy in it, and I love serving others that I don't focus on the amount of years. And honestly, I've loved helping people my entire life. So the years is very irrelevant to me. I just love what I do. So I can do this. I can do this for as many years, for eternity.
Yeah. So when you first started sharing your story and, started your coaching, started sharing your story, can you share with us some of the things that, as you started walking into your path of what God's called you to do, what are some of the things that you learned through that process?
Such a great question. So this is what I tell folks all the time. When you almost lose your life, you start seeing from a different lens. Mind you, my entire life, I love helping people. And so after I almost lost my life, literally, I'm now able to understand folks from their place of pain on a different level than ever before. And again, that's me understanding God's purpose for my life. And also too, after the domestic violence matter, I also am a survivor of sexual assault, which happened again for the second time in my life. Mind you, I was sexually assaulted when I was 8 years old as well. And for me, I'll never forget the individual who told me, you need to share your story. It may help someone. And for me, that was enough to come forward in regards to what had occurred. And so when we talk about the trauma that I experienced from the sexual assault, I recently launched a book titled Overcoming Heart Blocks, Inspiring Stories for Healing from Trauma, with other amazing individuals from all over the world who've had a heart block. And mind you, I thought I was the only one. When I was sitting there, I'll never forget, I said, oh my goodness, as I was trying to express myself in regards to what had happened, I said, what is this? And I remember sitting there and I said, this feels like a heart block. And I had no idea that there were other individuals in this world who have experienced what is called a heart block, including my own mother, who came forward about her own heart block in regards to how it intertwines with trauma.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the heart block and what that means, and also how you overcame.
Absolutely. So many individuals, they will say it's a wall. I believe that it's deeper than that. Based off my own experience, it's a heart block. And so if you're listening to this message today, you've experienced some sort of trauma and you may have a heart block. I'm here to let you know that you can overcome your heart block. You can overcome the trauma that you have experienced, and you are not your challenges. You are not what has occurred to you in your life, and to keep up the good fight. And if something has knocked you down, if you've experienced a challenge, maybe it has caused you to have anxiety or maybe even depression, I encourage you today to never give up.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you started sharing your story, when that person, said, maybe if you share your story, that might help somebody else. Was there ever any hesitation of not wanting to share your story? Or was it something that you felt really led and called to do to inspire and to help other people and give them hope that they're not on an island by themselves?
I will tell you this. I was what is considered an introverted leader. And so after that was stated, and understanding God's purpose for my life, and again, me wanting to really come forward, and also understanding that it may help someone, that was enough for me to do so. And so I did. And so I would be called what is now called an ambivert, which is both an introvert and an extrovert.
Yes. Well, I am so grateful that you have stepped into your calling and who God's created you to be, and to share your story, because I'm sure for other people that might be out there that might have encountered similar situations as yourself, they hearing your story will inspire them to open up. Because do you find, as you have shared your story and it's helped heal other people, do you find that as you're sharing and helping healing people, that more people are coming forth and they're getting healing?
I will say this, that you never know how your story may help someone, but I will also tell you this, that your story is not for you, it's for the people that you serve. And also too, if you're listening to this message today, that again, you're not your challenges. And we've had many individuals who have come forward on our platform. We recently launched an LSCOA speaker series, and for many of the folks, it was their first time sharing their story. And if you're listening to this message today, I commend you, and I'm so proud of you, and I admire your strength and your courage to really come forward in regards to sharing your story. My goodness, we had a woman who came forward on our domestic violence panel, and she shared it on the panel as well. She said it was her first time coming forward about her story. I think it's been over 60 plus years, and it was her first time sharing that story. And then we also had a gentleman who shared his story in regards to domestic violence and sexual assault. And mind you, he was told that gentlemen can't really express themselves in regards to those type of matters. But here he is. He was brave, such a brave soul, and he came forward, because this is the reality. Domestic violence does happen to males as well as females. And it also, sexual assault does happen to both as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I definitely appreciate you being such a vessel for God, and just, being there for people and sharing even the love of God, because you're really great about that too, just sharing the love of God and who he is, and you're here to serve, and that's what he was here to do, right? So God sent his son to serve us, right? So, and you're an amazing servant for him, and you are definitely a reflection of him. And so, is there anything that you would piece of advice or some wisdom that you would give our audience of, as they're pursuing their purpose in life? What would you encourage them to do as they walk into their purpose that God's called them to do?
To trust him, trust God, and also to maintain a resilient mindset. And what is a resilient mindset? Your ability to bounce back after a major challenge has occurred in your life, and understanding again that you're not your challenges. And oftentimes folks will stay in that, they'll stay in what happened, and understanding that you can come forward and that you are supported in your community.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of people out there that are there to support, and it's kind of finding those people too, of who will support you in your journey, and things like that. So tell us a little bit, like, whenever you are going through life or obstacles or challenges or learning lessons or things like that, what is maybe a scripture or a quote that you really lean into?
I love it. And it is Joshua 1:9. It says, haven't I commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for your Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And that is one of my favorite verses. If I had to tell you which verse is one of my favorites, that's one of my favorites.
Yes. How did that become your favorite verse? What was the pivotal moment that made that your verse?
Almost losing my life.
So if anybody wanted to connect with you, because if they've heard this and maybe themselves or somebody else that might have gone through this, how can they connect with you?
They can connect with me through Life Service Center of America, LLC.com, or also on LinkedIn.
Well, we definitely appreciate you just taking some time and just sharing with the audience some of your life and some of the things that you've been through. And you mentioned writing some books. And so what are some of your how many books do you have? I know you mentioned 2.
I don't count the amount of books, but I will tell you this: the books that I have launched are Walk With Me, which is all about helping others understand the importance of never giving up and walking with purpose, and also God First, which is all about helping others understand the importance of having Him first, not just in our lives, but in all areas of our lives and in our society as well. And also Overcoming Heart Blocks, inspiring stories for healing from trauma and healing and growth, inspiring stories for massive transformation. And that's a spiritual journey, one that I encourage your audience to take with us, and in that understanding that you can overcome and that you can grow. And I truly believe growth is truly the beauty of life. And I'm also part of several other collaborations as well. And I'm just honored to collaborate with the folks that I have collaborated with, and the books that we have launched as well. You can find that on our website. And also to remember to never give up. I really want to leave your audience with that today as well, because oftentimes folks face challenges day in and day out, and that's often forgotten. So remember to never give up and keep God first in your life.
Yeah. So if they wanted to, read some of those inspiring stories and books that you've been a part of and also released, they can find it on your website. Can they find it on any other platforms, or just your website?
Yes, they can find it on all major book platforms, as well as Amazon, Barnes and Noble, you name it. It's on that website. So, and again, I really appreciate, much gratitude to the readers as well, and the folks who have been on that journey as well, the spiritual journey as well. So God bless you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thank you for taking time to share and to let people know. And I hope that this inspires somebody that if they've been through, a similar situation or a similar walk as yourself, that you are a perseverer and you are a woman of God, that you really, shifted your focus onto Him, and He has just done some amazing things through you, and He's using you to, bring glory to Him. And so I love that I've gotten a chance to cross paths with you, and you've poured into me a lot, and I'm so grateful for your servant heart and all the things that you do. So, if anybody wants to get a hold of Gigi, I highly recommend you to, reach out to her, or, get on her website like she shared earlier. Well, I thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you for pouring into the audience, and we will chat again soon.
Thank you.
This is your host, Rachel Best, and I hope you loved the show. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, as well as share with a friend. If you would like, you can follow me on Instagram as well as Facebook under Rachel Best. You can also find me on my website at rachelbestspeaks.com.